regular meeting of the DuPage Township Supervisor and Board of Trustees, Tuesday, October 17, 2023 is now in order. Ken, could you lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll for quorum?
Trustee Braxton.
Here.
Trustee Ransom. Here. Trustee Savage.
Here.
Supervisor Markey.
Here.
Trustee Townsend is not here today, she's attending the bishop.
Next is approval of the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Any additions or anything else? If not, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Ransom.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Supervisor Markey.
Aye. Next is approval of the minutes of the September 19, 2023 meeting. Have you looked over the minutes? I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Any additions to the minutes, any discussion or anything? If not, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Ransom.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Supervisor Markey.
Aye. Next is public comments. Could you get the list over there?
I got it.
Oh, no. First on the list is Antonio Kempy.
Last Sunday, Israel suffered the largest terrorist attack and the largest mass murder of Jews since the Holocaust. At least 1,300 dead. So far, 30 Americans, as far as we can tell, were killed along with numbers of others from various countries. Women taken captive were paraded with blood running down their pants through the rapes they had to endure. Deep families, including children and babies, were brutally erased from the face of this earth as animals kicked their doors down and murdered them in their beds and in their homes. As of today, there are at least 200, mostly women and children, being held hostage. This was all carried out by one group, the terrorist group known as Hamas. As this atrocity was being carried out and thousands of rockets were being launched at Israeli homes, Hamas put out a statement claiming, I quote, Israel is a terrorist country. Any act against them is an act of liberation and self-defense. I'll read that again. Israel is a terrorist country. Any act against them is an act of liberation and self-defense. Not long after, while mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, not only in Israel, but all over the world, are trying to come to terms with this horrific massacre that was unfolding, our Township trustee, Green Council, found it expedient to post on Facebook the exact same Hamas statement. I quote again, Israel is a terrorist country, and act against them is an act of liberation and self-defense. It's beyond me, regardless of ideology or religious beliefs, how someone can be so evil and inhumane. I can only imagine how any Jewish person living in our township would feel, finding that our elected official would express word for word, the sentiments of those that seek nothing more than to eliminate the Jewish race. This is beyond irresponsible. It's unforgivable. I would demand trustee council provide her resignation, but I feel that it should be you, the board, and the supervisor, that would take it upon yourselves to correct this wrong and demand she resigns. If you don't feel that her words, her hate speech, her attempt at excusing terror and murder does not warrant her resignation, then you're worse than she is. Worse because it shows your hypocrisy and your cowardice in allowing her anti-Semitism and lack of humanity to go and to go unopposed. Many in the media will be contacting you, and so will the ADL. For those in Rio Linda, that's the Information League. I hope by the time they get to you, you have to answer, by the time you have to answer their questions, you'll be able to tell them how you yourself were not allowed to such evil stand.
Thank you. Next on the list is Linda Ellis.
Yes.
Good evening.
Hold my tongue closer to the microphone.
Community and neighborhood.
Doesn't seem like it's on.
Come closer to the microphone. Go closer to the microphone. Right.
Community and neighborhood.
Or turn it up here. There you go.
Community and neighborhood. Chosen by what is offered by community and neighborhood and what it represents. I oppose the building of the food pantry, washer, shower station for the homeless on DuPage. It's a very congested area in which more is trying to be added. And my question is, what is full? What is capacity of an existing area? It seems to me that as a budget-friendly or budget-concerned person, that monies would be better spent on refurbishing, recycling, and restoring an existing empty property. Give a new life to an old area instead of building a new building. It seems like more of the money could be used to do what it's meant to do, which is to feed and serve. Progress and a fallen economy. We should want our monies to work more efficiently for our community that we serve. Recycle, refurbish, restore. We are such a throwaway society. Wouldn't this be a better way of serving all? The homeowners of Township and surrounding neighborhoods need consideration and support, as well as those being served. Families offered food in need, and the homeless, washing and shower stations. There is a need. Bolingbrook and surrounding areas seem to be addressing that need. I do support help. I'm just not in the location presently looking to be obtained.
Your 3 minutes are up.
I beg your pardon?
3 minutes are up.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list, Judy Bradley.
I hope my timing hasn't started yet. My name is Judy Bradaway, and I'm a longtime resident of the village and the township. I am against the location of the food pantry. You are taking 2 commercial pieces of property that have been zoned commercial off of the tax rolls, because when government buys property, it no longer pays property taxes. And you are turning it into a $5.5 million project that has started out as a small addition to the administration building and escalated to a resource center, food pantry on 2 pieces of commercially zoned property at the end of Canterbury and Lily Cash. Now, I feel that location is the wrong location. We have another food pantry on Remington Drive that is serviced by Northern Illinois Food Bank. We have churches, non-for-profit, they don't use tax dollars, that are serviced by Northern Illinois Food Bank. We have 6 micro pantries that are available 24/7 in the area. We do not need a food pantry at this location, and I'm opposed to it for that reason. You are selling general obligation bonds for $695,000. That's $75,000 a year for the next 10 years on my property tax bill for DuPage Township. So let's take a look at it. You're increasing your budget for the next 10 years by selling general obligation bonds. You are taking 2 pieces of commercially zoned property off of the tax rolls. Think about what you're doing. Thank you.
Next on the list is Patty Dugan.
Hi everyone, I'm Patty Trugan, longtime resident of Bolingbrook. Are you, hello? Usually I'm too loud for you guys. Is this better? Yes. Okay. Hi, I'm Patty Trugan. I am also from Bolingbrook. So I'm going to respond to what Timothy said. First and foremost,
Point of order.
I want to say a prayer for our Jewish brothers and sisters that have lost their life. I also want to say a prayer for our Palestinian brothers and sisters who have lost their life. There's always going to be times when we are not going to agree with one side or another on things that have been said. At the end of the day, we have to take care of one another, look out for our neighbors, and that includes all of our neighbors, not just one versus another. I am getting ready to leave to go to a little boy who was murdered in Plainfield over a lot of the misinformation that's been going on regarding the news and things that are going on. So I'm not going to speak to one side's issue or the other. What I can tell you is that one of our children, an American child, because he has a Palestinian religion, is now dead. And I would like for everyone to come out if you're able. That's where I'm on my way to now. And I just, read. God bless everybody in here, period. And I wish we could just be better neighbors to one another. That's all.
Thank you. There's no other names on the list, but does anyone else want to speak up? If not, then the public comment section is over. Next is the supervisor's report, and two items on here. And that is, first of all, we have sold the truck that we wanted to get rid of, and we got $20,500. The reason people are congratulating is because over the last, I think, 3 to 4 years, this truck was purchased for $50,000 used, and we have, in repair bills over the last 4 years, spent over $55,000. It was a terrible purchase in the first place, and so we finally got rid of it, and we have a new truck that has replaced it. The other thing I want, if you look into the auditor's report, as far as income, you will notice that in 2022, as far as investment income, we got, I think, $895,000 in total interest earned. In the next year, we earned over $36,000. And that was because we went from having all the money in the local bank, which has been done for the last 10 or 12 years, and we put it into the Illinois fund, for the Illinois Public Treasurer's Investment Fund. So, we basically earned over $35,000 more than we have because the interest rate at the bank was like 0.1% we were getting. And that's basically all I have in the supervisor's report. On the action items, first thing is the presentation by Sikich. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Sikich or Sik. Who is our auditor, and this is the 2022 to 2023 audit report. Is that good?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So we have a director of Sikich for the auditors for the Township's March 31st, 2023 fiscal year end. Thank you for giving me a few minutes of the meeting to discuss the results of the audit. I also want to thank Jackie and Lean Finance for all of their assistance during the audit process this year. It was our first year as auditors, so there was a couple of additional steps on the first year audit, and so I appreciate all the help they gave to us throughout that audit process. I will be going through the two reports that you hopefully have in front of you this evening. The first being the annual financial report, or the audit report, and the second being the auditor's communication to the Township Board of Trustees and Management, or the board report. So I'll start with the annual financial report. You want to follow along. Beginning on page 1, after the table of contents, is our independent auditor's report. I just like to point out these 3 pages are the only pages that we as auditors put in this report. The rest of the information is all the Township's financial information. These 3 come from us specifically, though. Please report that we have issued an unmodified opinion over the financial statements. It's also known as a clean audit opinion. It's the highest level of assurance that we can provide that the financial statements are free from material misstatements. There's also a few other matters discussed in the independent audit report, just the basis for that opinion, the fact that the prior year financials were audited by other auditors, what management's responsibility is for the fair presentation of the financial statements, and then what our responsibilities are as auditors. Beyond that, we flip to MD&A page 1. This begins the management's discussion and analysis section. So just as the name describes, management discusses and analyzes the financial results from the fiscal year. What this does a really nice job of, Jackie and the team put this together for us. It does a nice job of taking the current year information, comparing to the prior year, and then explaining the changes that happened during the fiscal year. So a lot of the rest of the financial information in the report is just kind of static information, just what happened during the fiscal year, but this explains why things changed during 2023. I would say if you don't do anything else in the audit report, I would recommend you encourage reading these 6 pages here. Just after that is the basic financial statements. So on page 4 is the statement of net position for the township. This is essentially what we call your entity-wide balance sheet. It's broken into two columns, your governmental activities and business type activities. At the bottom, your net position is broken into 3 categories. Net investment in capital assets, your restricted net position, which just means it has to be used for a specific purpose, and then unrestricted net position, which can be used for any purpose.
Wait, I'm sorry, I am not following you. What page are you
Sure.
on?
Sorry, I'm on page 4.
And we're looking at the financials?
The statement of net position, yeah.
Okay, so
The
we have a different book?
The smaller of the 2 books.
So there should be 2.
Oh. Let's look at the same book. That had a different page. That was not page 4. This is the same, it's page 5, financials. Yeah, this is this one? No, you said page 4.
Right. Let's make a motion to choice of that.
Right, that's what it was talking about.
It's different. So I was.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
So we should be looking at financials, right? This is the bigger book?
Yeah, annual financial report.
Okay. These are different, okay. I'm with you now, it seems to be following. Okay.
So page 4 is the statement of deposition for the township. This is what we call the entity-wide financial statements. This is essentially the balance sheet entity-wide. It has two columns, governmental activities and business type activities. The governmental activities basically takes all of your governmental funds, so such as your town fund, the general assistance fund, and accounts for any long-term activities as well, like capital assets, long-term debt, things like that. Business type activities would be, in your case, just the banquet rental fund. The deposition section at the bottom, just want to point out there's three categories down there. Net investment and capital assets, which is your total capital assets less the related capital debt on those. Restricted net position, which is restricted for any specific purposes, you can only use it for that purpose, and then unrestricted, which can be spent on anything. The next two pages, 5 through 6, are the statement of activities. This is sort of a unique schedule. It starts on page 5, comes across to page 6, and then goes down to the bottom to show you the change in your net position. So governmental activities had an increase to net position of $127,000 during FY23. Business type activities had an increase of $57,000. We go just beyond that, the next page, page 7, begins your fund financial statements. This is the governmental fund balance sheet. So this just represents all of your governmental funds. You see that? Okay. So page 7 is the governmental fund balance sheet. This breaks out the financial statements for governmental funds by individual columns for major funds, which are your town and general assistance funds, and then one aggregate column for your non-major funds. Page 9 is the statement of expenditures and changes, revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances for your governmental funds. Again, these are broken out by your major funds and then your aggregate non-major. Ultimately, your town funds on an increase to fund balance of $390,000. General assistance had a decline of $125,000 during FY23. You flip that onto page 11 through 13. These are your proprietary fund financial statements. This is essentially just your banquet rental fund information. On page 12 is essentially the income statement for the banquet rental fund. Again, an increase of $57,000 there in that position, which just indicates that the funds, the fees being charged by the fund are enough to cover the operating expenses in that fund. And then lastly, page 13 is the required statement of cash flows. Beyond that, on 14 starts the notes of the financial statements. This will supplement the additional context of the financial statements. Note 1 specifically just kind of shows the policies that were in place used to prepare the financial statements. One note I always have to point out is on page 22 in the cash and investment section, deposits of financial institutions. This discusses custodial credit risk for deposits. So this would be in the event of the default of the bank that you would not get your deposits back. And so that risk is out there if you have deposits that exceed federally insured limits, and just ensure that you properly collateralize those balances. So it's kind of an important topic now. It's probably seen somewhat recently some banks have gone under. So just to keep monitoring that on a monthly basis. We just like to note during the audit process that deposits were within federally insured limits, and that the township does have collateral should it exceed those federally insured limits. A couple other notes I'll just quickly point out on page 24 is some additional information on your capital assets. On page 25, some additional information on your long-term liabilities. Page 26, information on your defined benefit pension plan, which is the IMRF plan. And those are really the highlights of the notes I wanted to touch on. Real quickly, if you go past the footnotes in the required supplementary information section, just flip to pages 36 to 37. This discusses the IMRF plan I mentioned. Just wanted to point to column 2022. That's the most recent information available. There was a net pension liability at the end of that year of $810,000. Although the funded status of that plan was still 84.4%, and the best ever plans out there. So just want to point that out.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, so the IRS pension plan, in the far right column, 2022, that's the most recent information available from IRF. What the actuary calculates is that there was an $810,000 net pension liability at the end of December 31st, 2022. But what that represents, there's an 84.4% funded status on that plan. And really what drove that increase in liability was more investment returns during the market during 2022. If you look up a little bit higher, there's a net investment income line that had $657,000 in net investment losses on the plan, just because of the market fluctuation during 22. And that's what drove that increase there. And then just beyond that, the rest of the schedule is some additional detailed budget versus actual schedules. Good comparisons, how the funds did versus how the budget was for. And those were the major highlights I wanted to touch on in the annual financial report. I'd like to just open it up to any questions or touch on the other report as well.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah. Maybe after. I mean, you just got it today.
I know that there was some, I guess we have been using practices as far as some financial, like the bank statements and everything, that we've been doing it, but we haven't had it in a written form as far as requirement. And what's happening is Janine and Jackie are going to be working up a financial booklet as far as the practices that we have. One of them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's on the agenda. Is that what you're
No, there's even more beyond that. Like one of the ideas is that Janine does the checks the bank statement every month. Well, practices says that someone should be looking over her to make sure she has done, someone in management checks to make sure that she's done the reconciliation of the bank statement. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. One of the what we look for is proper controls in place, the internal control processes. One of the key ones would be proper review and approval of specific transactions and reconciliations. So the bank record that will have a second person reviewing that and approving that. There's also requirements for the journal entries. Any journal entries get posted in the system, just to have a second layer of review and approval. Those are just spots where potential errors could occur. We just like to recommend some improvements to those or chemicals to those controls.
And one of the things we'll have is a financial procedures manual by the next audit, basically detailing exactly how we're supposed to be proceeding. Although one of the complaints I had was that what was it, Jackie, that they put down a reasonable time?
It was about like how often we go to the bank
Yeah.
and within a reasonable period of time.
And my question was, what is a reasonable amount of time?
Well, and it's kind of dependent on how much money is getting taken in. What you don't want to have happen is have a large sum of cash sitting in. Even if it's in the safe, you don't want it just sitting around for long periods of time. You want to make sure that's being brought to the bank on a periodic basis. So it's really dependent on how much money is being brought in and holding it at points in time. But you should have some sort of minimum time requirement before you actually do that. Typically, I'd say a week would probably be the longest. In an ideal world, you probably do that daily if you could. But it really, like I said, dependent on how much money is coming in and is being held. You can also set a dollar threshold. If you reach a certain dollar amount that's being held or currently in your safe or your vault, you want to make sure you bring it to the bank once you reach that dollar threshold.
I always hate the idea of reasonable, because that's total interpretation.
Yeah, I agree. That's why, like I said, it's really dependent on how much activity is going on, how much money we have at a particular point in time. So, my recommendation is at least weekly. If you can do it more frequently than that, then I would recommend doing it more frequently than that as well.
Any other questions?
Just add a comment. Apart from the, we talked about it, we're codifying the oversight procedure Is there any other conclusions or recommendations you can make based on the audit?
So in the second report here, the communication with the Board of Trustees and Management, we do have a handful of comments. So as we go through the process, we do identify some recommendations for improvement which are listed out here. So the ones we have were specifically reviewing approval of the bank reconciliations and journal entries, formalizing the internal control procedures and making sure that if anybody were to come on board, they can follow that and know exactly what their role is in the process. We also have one other comment in there about, we just discussed, making sure that the cash on hand is being deposited the bank in a timely manner. And I believe the last one was just on our end, what we do is we set up a separate fund for some of the activity, for long-term debt, capital asset activity, and just for the township to track that in their system as well. Right now it's just on financial statements, and I'm going to work with Deneen at getting those, that information reported in the general ledger systems for township as well.
Cam, do you have any comments on that? No. No?
Can a member of the public ask a question of me, please? The township received $3 million in a grant last fall. Where is that money?
Let me answer that. We have not received $3 million in a grant. We have a grant from there, and the federal grants are, as you use them, you put in requisitions to the federal to get the money, and then they will transfer it over to us. But you have to spend it first.
So you haven't drawn any of that down?
No, we haven't. Another question?
I can only see movement because
Do you have a question?
yeah, someone to verify whether or not money has been drawn down, and I just stated that I cannot speak for anything that's happened after the end of the fiscal year, after March 31st. And as of March 31st, there had been no drawdown of that money. It was just a grant award that had been awarded if I'm. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
The grant was not officially approved, even though we were awarded the grant December 21st of last year. You have to go through an application process to actually apply to receive the grant, and that was not approved until June or July 24th, give or take. I forget which month. I don't commit these things to memory. And we're still actually waiting for instructions on how to do the DRGR program, and they canceled the training, so.
And that's basically how we withdraw money from it and certify for the withdrawals. But we don't get the money until we spend it, and they have to verify that we spent it correctly. Okay, any other questions? If not, thanks very much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you, John.
Great job.
And I would entertain a motion to accept the 2022 to 2023 audit by signature.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Now, any discussion or questions?
Just a suggestion. Maybe perhaps have a chance to it's over before, that we had a chance to maybe review this prior to them coming in and walking through it. Would be helpful.
In the future.
Yeah.
I get it for.
I know, I'm looking, it says September, so.
No, we haven't had, that's when they
Oh.
rolled it up. So.
Yeah, they sent us something.
They mailed it after.
Oh, okay.
I could have emailed it to you. It's been done.
I mean, I can pick it up. That's just a suggestion for next time.
Okay. If there's no more discussion, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Ransom.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Supervisor Marshke.
Aye. Next item is, food pantry. The update is that we're having the presentation tomorrow at the zoning board for the village, and that's basically it. Next item is, resolution 2320, update the financial procedure policy. And, I have a copy of that resolution.
I put it on right in front of you with all the attachments. I'm gonna be done.
Any questions on the resolution? Or can I have a motion to approve the resolution? 2320.
Second.
Okay, now open for discussion if there's any questions on it. No questions?
Well. Oh, okay, my question is, this resolution is just being updated, it exists, right? So when we were talking earlier about, Jackie and Dean getting together, that's an addition to this?
Yes.
Okay,
We're
we were
gonna
talking
have-
about that, I was thinking of that, so these are two separate documents? Okay, I'm clear now.
We're gonna put together a financial procedures manual.
Okay.
To cover all the financial things like deposit, checking and same thing.
There's not one that exists today.
We don't have one today, no. And remember, we had a different auditor last year, and there were no questions on it last year. But we do have a new auditor, and they're a little picky.
That's good, that they're picking. Okay. So, yeah.
How many years did we have the previous auditor?
4.
4 or 5 years or so. When you change auditors, like, you're supposed to change auditors every 4 or 5 years. So you don't get too familiar.
Yeah, they don't speak perfectly. Yeah, that's the only question, I just like to understand, that we have this resolution.
But there'll be an actual handbook of financial procedures.
That's a great idea. I'm just really shocked that that's never been done. For the township. If it's needed, but that's all I had. Do you have a question for me?
If there's no more discussion, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Ransom.
Aye.
Trustee Savage. Aye. Supervisor Marchini.
Aye. Next item is, we're going to do a revision to the budget. And the reason we're doing the revision to the budget is in order to use the surplus that we had, that we were intending, if you remember last year when we said we were going to be putting more money into the capital fund, because we have several projects, not only, the food pantry, but we have other items that we have to do. And so we have quite a bit of surplus, and so we're going to be putting it into the budget. And it comes
Can you
to,
say that again? We have what?
we have a surplus of
We have
3.
what? Can you say that again? Surplus?
To the
Can you guys hear that? Surplus.
Am I supposed to be levying my taxes less then, so they have so much money?
The reasons we have the surplus. Okay.
That's a good reason.
Okay. First, if you remember, over the last 2 years, we have been doing overhead cutting, such as lighting in this building was put in for county investment, so that it would save money on that. We have the interest, because we went to the Illinois fund rather than keeping it in there. We did have a large increase in and the personal property replacement tax. Now, as to why we got this large increase, we have been trying to figure out for the last year, and we can't figure it out. And yeah, and we contacted the Illinois Department of Revenue, we contacted, and it's a very, very shady, they put out how much you get, and that's it. They don't answer questions. We have that, and we also, if you remember, we have cut down tremendously on the bulk grants that the township gives out, which were totally illegal. Because according to Aaron Blake, who's our attorney, and the TOI and everyone else, there's no such thing. We don't give out grants. So we save a tremendous amount of money. And so what we're doing is we're going to be to put it in there, and to have a revised budget, you have to do exactly what you did for the original budget, and that is you put out a notice 30 days in advance. Okay, at least you post it on door and also in the newspaper, and then you have a public hearing, budget hearing, and we will have that immediately before the November 21st board meeting.
Oh, so we're having it next month.
Yeah, it'll be approved next month. We're not going to discuss it. But we have to get approval to hold the revised budget meeting. Okay, so with that, I would entertain a motion to have a revised budget meeting.
So move.
Second. Okay. Any more discussion or anything?
So that be at 6 p.m.?
What? No, we'll have it at 7 p.m. and then we'll have the actual meeting immediately following the budget hearing. Because there's only one item on the budget that we're revising. Okay. Madam, will you call the roll?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Ransom.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Supervisor Markey.
Aye. Next is possible approval of liability insurance policy renewal, which is an annual event that we have to do. And of course, every year, insurance policies go up. Yeah. Is there any entertain a motion to approve the liability insurance policy renewal?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Have you looked at it?
Is there any change in the coverage?
Is there any, I think
No,
it's about.
no change in the coverage, just the total premium went from $81,041 to $89,443, or a 10.37% increase.
And we checked with TOI and the others, and they basically have indicated that's absolutely within the range of what they're doing all the time. Yeah.
He also said the average annual increase for loss-free entities is around 10%. And we did have a worker comp claim this year.
That's
It was in
okay.
January.
Any more discussion? Would you please call the roll, please?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Ransom.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Supervisor Markey.
Aye. Next item is if you've gone out and think the caps on all the flower beds and everything out there have been deteriorating their sandstone, blocks and that. So, we got quotes to repair and replace all the wall caps back at the Davy Center here. And I think you have the quotes there.
I do, so do you. You should have Zuniga Landscaping.
This was supposed to be-
2,500, and I know there was a question about the power washing. The reason they power wash, is so that the glue sticks better. You got dirt on all these things, because they're not replacing every single one. They're just replacing the damaged and broken ones. And, you have to have a special saw and everything to cut these things and make them all fit to follow the shape of the wall. And then the other one is from Professional Landscape Green Day, and that estimate was $4,500.
Against, so we went with the 25. Any more discussion on it? Did I have a, no? Okay, can I have a motion to approve, Zuniga Landscaping, to do the wall caps on the wall caps?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? If not, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Ransom.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Supervisor Markey.
Aye. Next is the, sign the intergovernmental agreement with Lewis University for Township Park. If you remember, we had a presentation at the last meeting from, the people in this project are, and so, what we will be doing is providing, transportation and some snacks for these people. And just to remind you what the project are is, these are kids from high schools that have a choice. Either they go to project art or they get suspended for a couple of weeks from school. And so we're working with Lawrence University and we're providing the space for them to meet and also the transportation to get home. And how many are you talking about it?
They have to screen the students, they do that, and they're actually in the process now, they're coming to our office tomorrow, by the way, just for another look, see at this case. But, 10, max, I would say 15, because they're gonna use our conference room. Not a huge amount of space in there. But 10, 15 students, and we don't know at this time, they could all be from Bolingbrook High, they could all be from Normanville High, it could be a mixture, we don't know.
That's up to them.
Yeah, and our job is just to bring the students from Romeoville if they don't have a car. And to return any student that is not within walking distance at the end of the program here in Bolingbrook to their home, and then those students in Romeoville. They did indicate to me that an awful lot of the students that might be participating in this program probably have an automobile. So, until we know who the students are, we don't know what the driving needs are.
Can you confirm?
Go ahead.
Can you confirm the time of the program?
I believe it's gonna start at 2:45 and end at 4:45. And either myself, and if needed, Tracy, will stay to lock up the buildings and our normal closing time is 4:30. But we will stay to lock up at 5.
Thank you.
May I ask one question?
Yes.
So is there any truth to it, potential rumor that they've already met and that they've overtaken where the choir practices for their space instead of being in the building room?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
They're coming tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
And they've not come before.
Oh, yeah, they've been, Lewis has been to our office.
And with the children,
It's nothing to do with the Leavey Center. It's nothing to do with the Leavey Center. It's just for our.
This
I
is
don't
Township.
know anything about the choir.
well, no, here.
I don't know anything about the choir here. I only know about Project Art, and that's gonna be in our conference room in the admin building next door.
Then it's
From
not
those
separate.
hours to.
Correct, November 2nd.
Yes. That clears that.
Any more discussion, questions? If not, we call the roll. Oh, we need a motion to sign the intergovernmental agreement.
I move that we sign the agreement for Project Park.
And I'll second that.
Would you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton. Trustee Ransom.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Supervisor Martinez.
Next is item H, issue transportation. A discussion and possible approval to post a position for communications director. We have, if you look at item H and you think it's a job description, and what you basically are looking at is hiring someone to be to handle the newsletter, to handle our website, handle press releases and everything. What?
Communications.
Yes. And it's a big indication of one of the problems we have. You see on Channel 5, they were talking about a backpack, giveaway for back to school and that. And they lauded the fact that they had 105 backpacks given out. And we gave out almost 800. And
We should have made it this too.
we didn't get any because we don't have anybody on the staff that can do it.
We should have made this for those seniors who went to the Olympics and all those medals they want to.
Well, that's
That's his way.
actually in Romeoville they publicized it very well, but not in Romeoville. But that's basically what we're looking at. And if you look at the thing, we basically took the job description of Hanover Township and eliminated a couple of things and so we're going to be looking for a communications director. As far as the timetable, there is no timetable. It's not going to be this month, but just permission to go out and start looking. And actually, when we find someone and we hire them, it comes back to the board for approval.
Can we be a part of the hiring process? Sit in on interviews? Or
Well, we have to be
not just
careful.
this? I don't want to approve somebody.
We have to be careful. Remember, open meeting act, you only have one trustee going to be in.
Right, so we can have, you'll have several people to interview, I'm assuming, and maybe we can.
Hopefully we'll have several people.
But I think it's, would be a great idea if we can involve in the process as well.
If you would like to sit on someone, definitely you can.
Hey, did you want to?
But if you're going to do it, it's going to be one at a time.
Right.
Okay, so you realize that. Okay, so I'd like a motion for your approval to go out and basically search for
But
position.
to advertise this.
Well, advertise.
We're going to get the major places like LinkedIn.
So I would entertain a motion to get permission to do it.
Second.
Any more discussion? One more discussion? Would you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Ransom.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Supervisor Martinez.
Aye. Last item there is emergency expenditure for Reed Center freezer. The freezer at the Reed Center went out, and we were going to be repairing it, but what was the cost of the repair?
The first repair bill wasn't that bad, $340 and maybe a little bit extra for some parts or something, but then it cracked down again like 5 days later. And just to come out and look at it again and tell us about all these new things they wanted to fix, it didn't make sense based on the cost of a new one, which was basically $3,500, that we invest, another $1,200 into something that's broken twice in 1 week. It didn't make a lot of logical sense. And then on this one, we actually got a 5-year extended warranty, so if anything goes wrong in the first 5 years, it'll get fixed.
The freezer made it over 15 years, so.
Yeah.
And the citizens against abuse was really worried because they were going to have
Couldn't freeze that custard.
they were going to have Andy's ice cream or Andy's custard, and they were afraid that it would be soup.
That was perfect
But
timing.
it did come in before, so it
So
didn't.
thank you, perfect timing.
So anyway, I entertain a motion to approve the emergency expenditure for the Lee Center Free.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? If not, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Ransom.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Supervisor Marcy.
Aye. There's no need for an executive session. Many times the audit, the first presentation of the audit is they do it in executive session, but I didn't think it was necessary to do it. So we took care of that. Okay, the next is approval of the township bills and claims. And I would entertain a motion to approve the bills and claims.
So moved.
Second.
And I have signed those bills that you pulled under. Okay, any discussion on them? Any questions? Would you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Ransom.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Supervisor Marcy.
Aye. Next is reports from the administrative staff and contractors. We don't have a legal here, so the next one is the administrative report.
A busy month, 35 marriage licenses, which is about half my normal, but both Tracy and Marisol were on vacation for a whole week, so no appointments. We had 6 passports, 24 beam applications. As far as road work, you guys approved some work to be done, some patches. Everything has been completed. In the process of inspecting, we found a missing street sign in Old Orchard. That will be replaced tomorrow.
Is that the one that's in the hallway?
That's the second sign, and that's the one that says hidden entrance. As it turns out, we found out after we ordered the sign, it actually probably was the Forest Preserve's responsibility, but since it was on our road, we thought it was our responsibility. So we bought the sign, the Forest Preserve is going to erect it, and they're going to even maybe change the location a little bit because it's kind of not
So
as
it's at the end of Bluff Road, right before we come to the expressway.
yeah, right by Cheapest Woods. It says hidden entrance, so that's being replaced. You know about the freezer. Just want to let you know I did forward the grant check for the refrigerator truck. Should be in our mailbox. Our repayment of $76,000 should be there on Friday. If not, shortly thereafter. And then our first 2 requests for the staffing of picking up the extra loads for Northern Illinois Food Bank. We put in requests for January through September, and we should be getting those dollars back on Friday as well. The e-transit van, the electric van for the pantry is complete. It's just kind of missing in action at the moment. They don't know where it is. They definitely got all those bells and whistles and things put on it, but as you may know,
They lost the van.
Is there a recall?
No,
No, it's not part of the recall.
yeah, there's a strike on that.
Is this funny?
But it's just Fairfield, so hey, if they don't happen to us by the time we can drive it back. We did do a complete review of ordinance and resolution books. They are now all up to date. Even the website has everything from 2019 going forward. And one resolution from 2018 that's still active is the harassment resolution. That one is still on our website as well. Food pantry, the Thanksgiving order that you guys approved last month. Guess what? We're going to get to reduce the price by $3,600 because we are getting a very large donation from West Liberty Foods of a whole bunch of turkey breasts. And I believe they are pre-cooked, so I'm sure the seniors will be very excited about that.
And there's 4 to a box, and they're smaller than the ones that we usually have, so that they can have individual meals rather than having.
Yeah, it's super nice. I did analyze the pantry usage for the month of September, and it was interesting because I heard it opined that Saturday should be our busiest day. They are actually much, much lower than our regular weekday counts, averaging 56 households, 56 to 71 households, while Tuesday and Thursday are between 70 and 95 households. So they are busier during the week than on Saturday. We still are testing our online food pantry program with Riverstone, and we are attempting to add Mackenzie Falls and possibly Romeoville Gardens. As of tomorrow, there'll be a message that goes out to those locations. We've only filled 2 orders so far, but like anything that's new, and especially if it's, you know, technological, sometimes it takes a little while for people to start signing up, but we're hoping that that's going to go well. As you know, the audit was completed. We updated the financials for like how we deal with credit cards and cash in the office. That's what that was. But that, as was alluded to earlier, Denise would make journal entries. I would see that in the final reports, but I didn't actually double check the journal entry to the material that caused the journal entries. So we now have a system set up, and we're going to begin to document all these different systems so that going forward, we'll have a policy in place should there be any change in staffing. Getting ready to work on the following events towards the cops, which we started already. If we're going to do the MLK event in January like we did last year, and as we talked about it for last year's pancake breakfast fundraiser, if we were going to be doing another one, we've been given some dates by the League Center where they're available. And not to mention, the January newsletter deadline is right around the corner, December 10th, actually.
And the January 1st newsletter, because of the Christmas, card rush and everything, we need to have more time. Oh, I just wanted to spend my eye. If you're going down Route 53 and the Amazon property, okay, and you look over and you see all the cars and everything in the lot, there's over 1,000 cars in the lot. And so I checked with the mayor as to what was going on there. And what happened is Amazon has subleased that to Ford. And what those are all new Ford cars, absolutely new, that are waiting chips for the computer system. And so when they get chips in, they go and take those cars and go to assemble them, so they don't have any more room down in Chicago Heights or everything. So we have over 1,000 new cars there. I'm wondering what the security measures are.
Are you going to test it?
No, people have done it. But I got several calls from people saying, well, they thought, Amazon had bought that and wanted the auction dealing with their, So I checked and it's all new cars. Maybe it's not. But that was just an FYI.
I have a question. Jackie, is there an update on the online ordering?
Is there a
On the online.
What about
ordering?
Is there a fee?
Is there an update? Are we?
Yes,
I'm missing something.
Oh, that's okay. We sent out emails to folks at the Riverstone where we were delivering food for about 30, and 2 people completed their order. I'm sorry, take it back. 3 people completed their order, and we delivered it to them. And 2 people attempted, but somehow never finished. So it's a learning process, and it's a new program, and it's going to take a little bit of time. But we thought we'd go ahead and offer it to the other apartment complexes and see if we get some more takers and if we can make up more than takers.
It cuts down on the traffic.
Yeah, the idea is to not have as much traffic, just as the supervisors talked about for when we have the new pantry on the corner, that we would allow the Pace Bus service, we would set up a route with them so that they could bring people to the pantry so there'd be less cars. And we also have our own 2 buses for that.
Well, plus the fact is that if you look at the Cook, the Will County, that, county, what's the?
Access
The access will, the study they showed, there's 2 areas in the county where there is a significant number of households that only have 1 or no cars. And the 2 areas, of course, the first one is Joliet, okay, internal Joliet. The second one is actually, if you go near the Canterbury, it's basically Beacon Ridge, the 2 apartment complexes, and what they call historic Bolingbrook. That's where, now if you see, they said in historic Bolingbrook, they have problems as far as parking. But the reason they have problems as far as parking is a lot of these houses, they have 2 and 3 families. They have generations. They have the parents, and then they have the kids, married, and then they have children. So that's why in apartment, there's a lot of people in that area that have only 1 car, or in many cases, no cars. And it's shown up in that survey they actually did a survey.
Have you thought about possibly bringing a computer to like Riverstone and having one of the food pantry people sit there and offer assistance to people? For volunteers?
We haven't gone that far. We do have an it's portable, we could do that. But no, it hasn't come up yet.
We're trying to urban technology, and the West Urban Food Pantry has been using that for years, but years, so they have a lot of business.
I think just give people some time and they will catch on. And if they don't, well, then this isn't something that our residents want.
Yeah, how are we advertising? How do they know about it?
Well, I know with Riverstone, the apartment manager has communicated this information out to the different units. I believe we've given them all the information that they sent out to emails. I don't think they gave us what they gave us. I can double check.
If we get
Flyers or something?
Yeah, they get the email, and they've gotten flyers too. Because remember, we've delivered food there. But it's been like generic packages of food, not necessarily something that they would want.
And that we have a database of all the people who do use food pantry, and if we get this thing down pat, we can then advertise it to them directly. But we gotta get all the teams out of it. I talked to some of the West Suburban food pantries, which has this kind of thing, and they said for the first several months that they had it, it was almost unused until people started getting acclimated to doing it, because they didn't trust it, And they were always worried about, people, they would order food, and it was not food that they would want to see, like fruit and everything. They would get bad fruit that people were always worried about.
When do they get the ticket? It was delivered?
Well, they don't get to see the people.
Right.
Someone puts it together, so they don't get that presentation.
Did you go pantry where we at? Did they do the online ordering and then it just started and then it's new part? Remember?
The one in Skokie?
They had a nice little system in it. So
No, the one that was closer to. Maybe we in the Wheaton area.
And so, I mean,
Fishes in the Lowe's.
Oh, no,
And they-
People's Resource Center.
Yes, that was it.
yes, and they said that they was looking to do that study to help, to give us some funders. It seems like a really good system.
Well, we got the grant to put it together, so,
I'm on it.
but the thing about it is the grant will only handle the first year.
All right, sorry.
All right. Do you have anything with her?
Just a reminder, Halloween party. Christmas.
October 31st.
October 31st.
Costumes are optional, but we encourage costumes. I know you're gonna You put on a costume even when it's not Halloween, so. So, hopefully everybody will be there, we'll have a full house, of course.
Is it full?
What?
Did you have, it's full?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's usually booked up within 2 to 3 weeks after we have.
Still something.
When are they done with the chit chat and back to the business?
I think it was that fast. Well, that's why we need that, the expansion of just these 2 wings here.
We have more people in here, yeah.
It's just a concept.
How come we get 3 minutes, but they can just ramble on?
Activities are being more in-house. This club is upset, your point, because I can move some stuff around. This club is upset because Meals on Wheels wants to jump in, so basically I'm a firefighter for the whole month of October.
This was some comments they had about the fire. What?
How to move it required as well.
There was no request other than move their class back 30 minutes. The 5 people. So those 5 are requesting this entire room down here complete silence.
Yeah, they're on the stage up here, but they do not want to have any other activities. And this thing, and the League Center's opens to seniors 9 to 4:30, and it doesn't limit it that, anyone can have the whole thing.
Parking is a big issue. I even moved my stuff to 12:15. They're here at 10:30, 10:45. If it's raining, they're here at 9:30. Why? If you don't want to walk from behind Public Works or the community center or out on 241 out on the street. So if you get in here earlier, how do you keep 75 seniors? It doesn't work.
Maybe all the seniors need to join the fire.
They could use some good places.
Parking spots.
So, if there's a group that has a set time for when they're supposed to meet, have there been some changes with the times because of other events? They get moved? I guess that was the concern.
Yes.
And are they notified?
No, we're trying to talk them into, helping us out a little bit, but we're our own school. We don't want to make changes. This is the way you've done it for 30 years, or 15 years, or 18 years.
Are we always having that way? It's not.
The problem is that the number of people that's using the League Center now has increased tremendously. I mean, we got we got 2,600 registered seniors in the League Center. So it's increased tremendously. So there's more and more people using it, and so we have to make it come. We can't. They're members. They have the use of this thing just like anyone else.
I guess my question was just around the group, like the Red Hats, the senior club, right? Senior club, if they have a time that they meet.
Yep.
And if there's an issue with that time, they're notified ahead of time?
Oh yeah.
No.
That's my question.
Well, Meals on Wheels has been doing programs on Tuesday. Senior club meeting starts at 1 p.m. They have social hour between 12 and 1. People that are participating in Meals on Wheels program are also in Bolingbrook Senior Club. For example, today we had a program, Jen put on a great program. It was craft and seniors were here today. They did a craft. You guys had it at 1 o'clock.
The point is, our time, and it's in the bylaws, is from noon to 3:30. We sell raffle tickets, the 50-50 raffle tickets, we sell bingo cards, we handed out our Halloween tickets today, and when we can't get started, I canceled 2 meetings because this is sprung on us at the last minute. I knew nothing about this until a couple of days ago. that there was something going on again on a Tuesday. Now, I understand if people want to run things and stuff like that. One, a heads up. Two, do it before noon. When our ladies and gentlemen come in for our thing, we've just done this, and I know you said, oh, just because you've done it for 30 years. Yeah, we've done it for 30 years. And it's only been this last year that people are filling in our time during the week. This month, it would have been 2 days. The Halloween party is a Tuesday, and the thing that you guys did today. Now, based on the people, and I don't know, this is just what I heard, the original flyer was set for Monday, and it was changed to be on Tuesday because the Red Hats were meeting on Monday, and they meet at 1 o'clock.
Rita, with all due respect, that's not true. The flyer has been up there for 2 weeks. The date was never changed. Jen tries to do her stuff on Meals on Wheels Tuesday because it also goes with the congregate lunch for $4. So what Jennifer's trying to do is pick up additional people, volunteers. She's doing what she's supposed to be doing. But again, what I keep coming back to, it's 2023. We have outgrown this place. I cannot physically make everybody happy. I'm doing my best to shuffle, move days around. Buses are being used on Tuesdays, buses are being used on Thursday, which means I can go out on Wednesday. I try to stay away from Mondays. We will look at Friday afternoons, banquets. It's a lot to take in. There has got to be 15 different organizations that get priority over my stuff. So I'm doing the best I can. I'm asking everybody, just breathe. We will fix it. We're tweaking it. She has a couple events in November. I told her, move them back so that you're pretty much out of here by 12 o'clock.
And that would be great.
Oh,
They're out
okay,
by 12,
please,
12,
no.
15, that's great.
Please, let's get ahead with the meeting now, because this is happening.
Yeah, well, thank you, Linda, for
All right, thank you. Next will be federal assistance. Where is that? You have the written report.
Yeah, I give copies to the clerk and to distribute to the trustees and the board. If anybody has questions. No.
That was good. Good work. You get an A for that. Okay. Elected officials report. Mr. Assessor.
Good evening. I just have a short report. As you know, the Board of Appeals deadline to file was September 15th. So since then, we've been in the process of hearing cases. The county has. So we have quite a few cases. We're up to 182 appeals. So over the next couple of months, I'll be pretty busy going to film an assessment. So that concludes my report.
182.
Yes.
Okay, and that's it?
That's it for now.
Okay, Madam Clerk.
Okay, first I'd like to offer my prayers and condolences to the family in Plainfield. It was a horrible situation, so everybody should just send prayers and hopefully take a deep breath. And then I want to thank all our seniors. That was fabulous, all the medals that they won. I'm amazed by how active they are, and they were so proud of all their accomplishments. So again, congratulations to them. Our senior committee is busy planning a lot of activities, and thank you, Linda, and the senior committee, because they're doing a great job with planning activities, trips, and lunch and learns for the next few months. And then I wanted to remind everybody that Boardman Cemetery is hosting an open house on Halloween. It's supposed to be family friendly, but I'm sure somebody's going to get scared there, but it's from 3 to 9 p.m. And then to remind everybody that there's 2 celebrations going on for Veterans Day services. Bolingbrook is at 11 o'clock at our Vietnam Wall area, and Romeoville is at 9 a.m., so hopefully everybody gets to attend some of them. And that concludes my report for this month. Thank you.
Thank you. Todd?
Yeah, thank you. I do want echo what Barb just said. All we can do is think and wish for the best such as it is for the family, the individual, and suffering this tragic loss. It's just, the words have already been said, so I won't get into that. Also, I just want to remind folks that October 26th is bingo day. Win big money for the money. It doesn't give you a chance. There's no very skill. Just show up and you might walk by with some and also, Friday, we're going to have a thank you dinner for the pantry volunteers, which deserve every bit of thanks we give them. There's a handful of staff people who work at the food pantry. The bulk of the folks who are there are volunteers, and without them, it would simply not work. With the steady stream of families in need who go through there, with the numbers that Jackie went through a minute ago, there's upwards of 1,000 families a month, I believe, some thereabouts, plus or minus. I mean, it's always been, and it's clearly it's outgrown its space. It has years ago, but it's because of the work of volunteers that it works as well as it does. So that's pretty much it. And also, actually, well, I guess they went home already. But special senior Olympics winners in their medals, in their play. They've already left the building, but congrats to them.
Thank you, Bob. Terry?
Good evening. I just wanted to, again, remind everyone of the youth committee meeting on Monday at 6 o'clock, it's my usual. And then just, offer my condolences again to the family, Plainfield, and hopefully possibly to go to the individual tonight. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Debbie?
Well, I too want to echo what they said about the dear sweet little boy from Plainfield, India, and prayers for his mom to heal from her stab wounds as well, and the emotional feeling of the mom and dad in this horrible tragedy, and praying for peace in the Middle East as a whole. Of course, there's COVID and flu vaccines that I always talk about, so for our seniors, hopefully folks are working on getting the COVID and flu vaccine. They're readily available. And then if you're 65 and older, it's the RSV vaccine as well. There are varying opinions on that, but if a senior who's probably 70-ish plus gets RSV, that tends to really make those folks extremely sick, sicker than COVID, sicker than flu. So, it's up to you whether you do that. It's much like the shingle shot. Do you get the 2 shingle shots, and then do you get RSV? So that's for you and your doctors and folks to talk about. But for sure, the COVID and flu vaccines, right now COVID is still the main strain. Flu hasn't hit really hard anywhere yet. But with the COVID vaccine, infection, people are really still having a lot of GI things. You get a lot of achy-ish, the back is killing you, people get headaches again. The things that haven't come back, thankfully, with this strain are where you lose your taste and smell. That's not a thing right now. So that was the original strain. So, think about getting the new COVID vaccine. If you've never been vaccinated before, you can just get the one new COVID vaccine. They don't have the old COVID vaccines anymore because those are outdated. So just get the new one and the flu shot, and you'll be good to go. So wishing everyone great health. And again, congratulations to our seniors. They are just amazing with their Olympian efforts. And I hope to be like many of them when I'm of their age.
Thank you.
It's breast cancer awareness.
It is breast cancer awareness.
Everyone get their mammograms.
People should get their mammograms, talk to your physicians, but you can get them. Medicare pays for them, thankfully. Just like your vaccines.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Any discussion?
Should they build on the second?
Trustee Ransom.
Any feasibility study whatsoever?
Trustee Ransom.
Aye.